Thank you for 3,000 subscribers, and also I managed to get my channel monetized. Thank you so much. Yeah, it wasn't something that I thought that I would be able to do, so I'm really pleased. So today I thought I'd celebrate by doing like a get ready with me video, and also I'm gonna talk about the creepiest date that I ever went on in Japan. Yeah, I'm at my most potato right now. This is what I look like most of the time, unfortunately. I got asked quite a lot to do makeup tutorials, but honestly I'm not very good at makeup, honestly. Another thing is I have dyspraxia, so I often drop things, or I really struggle sometimes with like motor skills, particularly if someone's watching me. So like a makeup tutorial is like the worst possible situation for that. So we're gonna do our best. I'm not wearing any makeup, and I curled my hair before, and I also put my color contacts in because otherwise this video would just be like 20 minutes of me poking my eyeball. You might hear some creatures howling, but that is just my everyday life. So yeah, let's start. I'm gonna start by prepping my skin. I always use Etude House Moistful, just because I honestly know a lot about skincare, and this is just highly rated. Yeah, Etude House is pretty good. It's like really cheap, and it hasn't failed me yet. Next I'm going to put on some base. I usually forget, but today I'm going to try and do things like relatively how I'm supposed to be doing them. This is just from Revlon, and it's just like to even my skin. Okay, we're ready to go. So I bought some new foundation yesterday. This is from Estee Lauder. I saw a video online of an influencer using it, and it looked really good. So I took a screenshot and I went to a department store, which was my first mistake because department stores are very serious. Like, the customer service was incredible, but they also tried to upsell me a bunch of stuff. I was looking at a foundation that looked similar in the store, and it was about 8,000 yen, which is more than I would normally spend on foundation. But I thought, you know, seeing as it's a nice product, it wouldn't be too bad. But the shop staff helped me out, and she actually found the one that I was looking for, and we tried the different color options. We found the one that was closest to my skin, and we talked a lot about makeup. It was honestly a very fun experience. But then when I was paying for it, I realized that the one that I wanted was actually 14,000 yen, which is a lot more expensive than I kind of wanted to spend. So let's hope it's really good. Yay. Okay, it looks like this. It's called Renutriv. I have no idea what it does, but apparently it's good for your skin. And yeah, it seemed pretty good when I was trying it out in the store. Thing that's hard about buying makeup in Japan is that it's usually yellow base. So for people who have pink base skin like me, your options are a little bit more limited. Okay, so let's start this story. This is the creepiest date that I ever went on in Japan. This was after I had been dating a while, so I was already like pretty jaded at this point. I had been using Tinder for a while, so I was kind of like aware of the red flags that usually come up if someone is a bit weird. I matched with this guy, and he honestly just seemed pretty normal. Like, he looked pretty normal, and he spoke English, which was nice, and there wasn't anything that really stuck out about him, but you know, like, you figure those things out by going on dates. We talked for quite a while, like maybe a week or so before meeting up, and he just seemed, yeah, pretty normal. I can't really remember what his hobbies were. I think they were generic, like things that Japanese guys normally say, like, I like yakiniku and I like watching TV. So yeah, I don't really remember anything about him that really stuck out, but he spoke English, so that was something good. It seemed like, I think that he lived overseas for a bit. I'm not quite sure, but his English was very good. So I thought it was worth a shot, so I agreed to go on a date. Yeah, this foundation doesn't look too bad. considering the piss poor job I did of replying it. Okay, so the first red flag was that he wanted to go on like this bus trip, and he said that he booked it. I told him the date that I would be free to have a day out with him, and he already booked like this weird 6-hour bus tour around Tokyo on like one of those open air buses. And immediately I said no, because if you're dating, like, you don't want to be stuck somewhere that you can't leave for 6 hours with someone that you do not know. That is honestly my worst nightmare. Like, even not on dates, but even just meeting like friends for the first time, I don't want to be spent 6 hours with them stuck somewhere where you can't move. That's like a total nightmare. This is by Flower Nose. And it has some of my favorite colors. I don't know, I'm not very good at eyeshadow, but I just like do it as I go along. Yeah, so he got really angry when I said I didn't really want to go on this bus trip. And he's like, but I already paid for it. Like, first of all, that's stupid. Why would you not ask someone? What if I didn't like buses? What if I got car sick? Which I do. It's just not a very smart thing to do. Like, always ask the person before you book the date. Like, I thought that was just a generic, it's just polite as well. And so that seemed like that was gonna be it, like we weren't gonna meet up, because his initial reaction was just to get angry with me. But he calmed down after a while, and he found out that he could get his money back. So yeah, that ended up not being too bad. After that, we talked a little bit more for like a couple more days, and I said I don't mind going on a date, but I want it to be just like a little bit more casual. Like, normally it would just be like having lunch or going to a cafe or something like that. So he agreed to just do like a normal lunch with me, and I agreed to that. I said, okay, we'll just meet up in like the afternoon and we'll just have lunch, because I'm just more interested in like finding out a little bit more about you. And obviously, if you've seen my other stories, you'll see that I had like some pretty bad dating experiences in Japan. So I wanted to just keep it like as simple as possible. So we ended up agreeing to meet in like Ikebukuro, which isn't the most romantic place in Tokyo. And I thought that we were just gonna like meet up and then pick a place to eat. But again, he surprised me by, on the way to meet him, he said that he booked like a really expensive yakiniku place, like one of the most expensive places that you can go to. Hade-chan, what are you doing? And actually, like, I don't like doing yakiniku for dates. That's just maybe me. I think it's one of the most popular places to go for dates for Japanese people. But I don't like it because I'm more focused on cooking the meat and making sure I'm not setting myself on fire than I am talking with my date. And like, we're really there to get to know each other. So I just would rather it be somewhere that we can just talk. So already I wasn't really feeling it. I took the train to go meet him, and I think we met at the station. And the moment I saw him, I immediately knew that it was a mistake. He didn't look anything like his pictures at all. Like, I don't think he was maybe being like purposefully deceptive, but men really don't know how to take pictures of themselves. And I think that maybe the pictures he posted of himself were like either pretty old or just like very flattering pictures of himself. I think they were actually very old, because the pictures I saw, the person I met was like way heavier, and like, I don't mind chunky boys, I really like chunky boys, but just the whole vibe was different. He just looked different. It was definitely the same person, but the pictures just looked really, really different. And again, that's not really his fault. Maybe. So I thought, even though like I wasn't really attracted to this guy from meeting him, at least I should give him a shot, because I really don't really care that much about looks. And I've been on dates with guys who I weren't initially attracted to, but then they had really nice personalities and it evened out or whatever. So I thought I won't just immediately discredit him, and we'll see how this goes. Eyeliner time. The first thing that I remember initially was that he was very excited, which is a good thing because normally people aren't really excited when they go on dates, so they don't want to show that side of themselves. So at first I thought it was a little bit refreshing, but then it just got really annoying. Okay, I messed up my eyeliner, but we're just gonna go with it. He was very excited, and he kept just saying how incredibly shocked he was that someone as gorgeous as me was even considering going on a date with him, and how he'd never been on a date with a beautiful woman before, so he didn't know how to behave. And I'm like, clearly. And that was fine, but then he started to just get like really touchy, and he kept trying to like, oh no, I'd only just met him and we'd only just entered the restaurant, but he kept trying to like hug me or like put his hand on my shoulder or like sit really close to me. And that was awful because particularly in Japan, people don't really like show affection that much in public, and they definitely don't like kiss or hug and stuff like that. So this was just really embarrassing for me, particularly as a foreigner. And where we were sitting, I was in the corner and I was against the wall, and he was sitting next to me, and I feel like he did that purposefully, and he kept getting closer, so I was smushed against the wall and I couldn't move, and I started to get really claustrophobic. And I really don't like people I don't know touching me, so immediately I was just very anxious. Again, all of these things I can just put down to his inexperience. But then he reached over and he kept trying to kiss me suddenly. And we'd only been at the restaurant and we've only were eating for like 15 minutes, and I just met this man. And honestly, that's never happened to me in my entire life in England or in Japan, and I was just very shocked and I didn't know what to do, and I just froze and I just put my hands in front of my face. I didn't want to be outright rude to this guy because I also started to get a little bit scared because he was a lot bigger than me, so I just said that I was embarrassed and not to do that. And he was like, oh, it's so cute, you're so shy, and he kept trying to do it again, and then I started to get more awkward and angry, and he was just so oblivious. Like, he was just kept talking and kept trying to touch me even though I wasn't saying anything, and I was just quietly eating as quickly as I could so I could leave. The worst part was that he looks like a course meal, so I had to wait until all the food had been served and eaten, otherwise I would have just left. Quite honestly, I would have just eaten very quickly and left. And at this point in time, I started to I went from mild indifference to just hating this man, and he just become more and more excited and happy that I was on a date with him, and he just couldn't tell that I really didn't want to be there. We paid and then we went outside, and this is where things got even more creepy. I was just gonna make my excuses and leave, which is what I tried to do. But I said, well, we've had lunch and it was really fun. Thank you for a nice day, but I'm gonna leave now. And he kind of got a little bit angry, and he was like, what do you mean, like, it's still early, we still have so much stuff we can do. And as much as I tried to make excuses, he was really good at pushing past my boundaries, and I'm not very good at setting boundaries. Particularly, I am quite anxious, and also I'm British. It's not very good for us, it's very hard for us to put strong boundaries up. And then what made me really, really angry was that he said, oh, I want to show you a Japanese manga kissa. A Japanese manga kissa is like where people go to read manga. It's not a place that you would take like a date, particularly not like a first date. And it's like a very dark room, and you can get a booth, and people, like, if a lot of guys would try to take women there just to get them on their own, so they're vulnerable, and then they can like do what they want to them. So that immediately just really pissed me off. I said, I know what a Japanese manga kissa is. I've been there before. I don't really want to go to one. Like, thank you a lot, but I'm gonna head home now. And I mailed my friend a little bit before and told her that I was in a bit of a bad date situation, and if she could call me. I am shockingly bad at putting on full C's. So my friend called me and made up some excuse about her forgetting her key. We had to also make it realistic because this man spoke English. And I took the call and I explained the situation to him. And he just got really, really angry, and he was like, what? But you said that we could spend the whole day together. I didn't say that. And he was like, I spent so much money on yakiniku for us. Like, that was your first mistake, my guy. I would have been fine with kaiten sushi. In fact, I would have preferred kaiten sushi. And also, just because you spent money on some meat doesn't mean that I'm gonna spend the entire day with you. I'm not sure where you got that idea from. And then he kind of like was blocking my path so I couldn't leave and trying to get me to stay. And it was honestly embarrassing because this man has already embarrassed me in front of a restaurant full of yakiniku customers. So the fact that he was blocking me in like the main street in Ikebukuro in front of people, and people were starting to stare at us, I just got really mad, and I just pushed past him and I went home. And this whole thing just really made me just so mad. Like, why have you got to be like that? I went home, and of course, like, the moment I even got on the train, he was mailing me a bunch of nonsense. Like, oh, like, I don't know why we couldn't spend the whole day together. It was going so well. Like, we got on really well. It's like, if we got on so well, why did I literally have to make an excuse to leave and have to run away? And why were you trying to stop me? Like, if it went that well, I would have stayed longer, perhaps. And here's the thing. So I don't even remember what we were talking about. I don't remember a single thing about this guy. All I remember him is just him talking about himself and it being really, really boring. That was one of the creepiest dates I've ever been on. And I think the reason it was so creepy is because he definitely felt, because I was a foreign girl, that for some reason I would be super into just meeting around a man and touching them and like immediately like going somewhere and doing gross things. And it just really makes me mad that a lot of men here tend to have that idea about foreign women, and I know hundreds and hundreds of foreign women and no one's like that. Like, where did you get this idea from? Is it like American movies? Like, I don't know where you got this idea from, but it's so wrong and it's really damaging because it's bad for you, because the moment you start acting like that, your date's just gonna leave. And it's bad for us because we have to sit there and deal with that. So yeah, that's just like my basic capsule bunny makeup I do all the time. I really find makeup fun. I'm not that good at it, and I kind of have a low attention span, so like watching tutorials and stuff, I kind of get bored halfway through. However, it is very fun. Now I guess I'll change into my dress. Okay, so I got my dress on. This is a Lolita dress that was gifted me by a brand called Souffle Song, and it's really cute and really comfy. I think it's like mostly cotton. This is just a regular kind of basic makeup that I do. I'm not good at drawing straight lines, so I tend to cover it with glitter. I hope you had fun getting ready with me. Let me know what you think about my story. If you've had any similar stories, please let me know. As always, thank you for watching and please subscribe.